In the early 1950s, two scientists at Bell Laboratory invented a new device called the transistor. So the first thing that Motorola did immediately after this discovery was to build a plant at McDowell and 52nd Street, and we called it the transistor plant. It soon became apparent that because of the expanding population, the area needed a hospital.
And despite the fact that there were a lot of naysayers in other parts of the valley that believed that Scottsdale should never have its own hospital, a group of people took a risk and raised money and developed this campus here at Osborne.
I was interviewed in the front lobby, and the director looked at my application and she said, "Oh, OB experience, can you start tonight?"
If you were injured or became ill and were taken to the ED, either by ambulance or your family, you just hoped and prayed that a doctor of some kind was making rounds. It really didn't matter as long as he was an MD and could take care of you.
I could hear hammering, sawing things. They were still building on it when we came in. As I said, I had one foot in the stirrup. That's because they couldn't find the other one. It was gone. Well, all of the nurses came in from all over the hospital and to see the baby, and then someone from the Scottsdale Progress came in. They put it on, all three of them, on the front page. It's a boy.
Virginia Piper was a very dear friend of mine, and she was a very dear friend of the hospital. When her parents were living and when her husband Ken Piper was living, all three were very ill at one time. And they were all hospitalized here at the Osborne Hospital. She was amazed by the kind of care, and she made that very first gift at that time. She felt that the thing to do to show her appreciation was to make a substantial gift. And that really was the beginning of philanthropy here, and that was the beginning of her great relationship with Scottsdale Memorial. The Honor Ball is one of those great fun events that brings the community together with the physician community, and it's just a lovely, lovely way for everyone to celebrate together.
We feel like we have a loyal group of donors who support us through thick and thin, and many of whom have said, if there's one organization I want to support, it's Scottsdale Healthcare, because I believe in what you're doing there.
I can remember when patients walked in the cancer center the first time, and one of the reactions that I remember the most was a patient who came in, and she stood in the foyer of the lobby, and she took a long sigh. Her head was bald. She was going through chemotherapy, and she looked around, and she said, "I think it's going to be okay now."
We've really become one of the top phase 1 programs in cancer, the development of new drugs and treatments for cancer in the country.
We took a drug that for phase 1 trial, and typically for a drug to get to FDA approval is 16 years. We took a drug called Hedgehog, and it went to the FDA in 5 years.
I think the excitement for Scottsdale Healthcare is looking beyond the four walls of the hospital.
So we reach out to the communities, and we go into the communities, and we help the people that can't find their way down here or are unable to.
Our ability to understand where are the gaps in care and meeting the needs of the underserved in the Scottsdale area, whether it's a Too Fit to Fall campaign to help seniors in particular, whether it's working with school-based children throughout the city of Scottsdale.
Another initiative is NOAA at the Paiute Center, which is really an outreach for the less fortunate.
A Fit City Scottsdale, so that hopefully we can be the healthiest city in the country.
That's a really exciting endeavor to try to change people's behavior in a way that will make them healthier.
Certainly the military partnership, that's broader than Scottsdale, but it's allowing us to train military personnel taking care of our wounded soldiers as part of our trauma program. As the largest employer in Scottsdale, our team has played a leadership role not only in the development of Scottsdale Healthcare, but certainly to help in the development and growth and the economic vitality of this fine city.
We were formed as a nonprofit community hospital system. So our whole mission, our whole reason for being is to provide excellent health care in our community.
I love the fact that we're a magnet hospital, which means that we attract the best nurses that we can possibly attract.
Magnet really is about a center of excellence, and very few hospitals are fortunate enough or gifted enough to be able to achieve this.
The journey that we've gone on has taken us into a completely different place than we were when we started. We were good when we started. We're great now.
Attaining magnet status not just once, but twice, and not just for one hospital, but a system.
So really, magnet to me, that's what it's all about. The environment, the opportunities, and the ability to really care for patients at a completely different level.
Compassionate care to me means that you provide the very best to those that you serve. With the purest of heart, the best intention.
We want to be there for the family and help as much as we can.
It doesn't matter whether it's a patient in the ICU or it's a patient who has OD'd in the emergency room. They both need tender loving care.
My journey with Scottsdale Healthcare started back in November of 2008, and out of the blue, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. From one night to the next day, I was here in Osborne, and 3 days later had brain surgery, and everything went great, and I went on my merry way home, only to find myself back in on Cinco de Mayo. We pulled in, they wheeled me into ICU, and I thought, oh, that doesn't look so good. But you know, another MRI there, and then Dr. Brian Fitzpatrick, who's an amazing surgeon with you guys, came in and looked me in the eye and told me he was going to treat me like a brother, and he has ever since.
You treat every single patient and every single family member of that patient like they were your family.
I can't tell you how many times I say everybody who works here is so nice, and you guys are all so happy and always smiling, and it's amazing to think that 50 years, imagine how many people had that amazing experience that they are going to come back and bring their kids, and we're going to be their hospital no matter where they live.
If there's anything that we hear on a regular basis from many of our donors, it is how caring the nurses, how caring the staff, how caring the people are from one end to the other, from the front desk to the time they leave, and how much they appreciate that.
All of our staff and our physicians, they want to work for an organization that's known as a high-quality organization.
You know, it's been such a wonderful, wonderful place to be a part of. And when you go back and you look at the photos from 50 years ago, most of those docs were here, most of those nurses were here when I started 33 years ago.
Scottsdale Healthcare's 50th anniversary is really a notable event. 5 decades of caring for not only the physical welfare, but also a caring attitude.
What really gets me excited about Scottsdale Healthcare's future is our strategy to really link the physicians' offices and the hospitals, and really all components of the delivery of care.
This is going to be an incredibly exciting period of medicine.
We have the core ingredients that any organization needs to be successful in the future. We have the talent, we have an outstanding reputation, we have a committed board, we have 1,200 volunteers, we have a very solid foundation, we have a core group of people who are very philanthropic towards Scottsdale Healthcare because of their passion that we share with what we do here.
And I'm not much of a poet, but it did come from the heart. And it's called ICU, Intensive Care Unit. I see you daily in my thoughts of gratitude. I see you nightly in my prayers. I see you caring and full of compassion. I see you all believing that your patients will heal. I see you all as my heroes. I see you all and I love you all. I see you all and I will never forget you. And I see you and I thank you.